All right, everyone, we are back live. Just give me a moment, please. If at any time you all can't hear, please just let me know. We still don't have AC. We were told the AC would be fixed in 2 hours, but you know how that goes. So it's been out since yesterday. And because the heat is so unbearable here, we turn on the fans just once in a while to sort of move the hot air out. And just give me one moment to set us up. All right, everyone, just 1 second.
When they're sitting there. You want me to turn it?
You can play with it.
And I have that thing. I like that. That looks good. You want to tell me to do our model? Stay right there. Oh. There you go. I like that. Like right there.
See, I think that's good.
I
But if
think
we
so.
can turn it a little.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. And then, I think that's it.
No, it's not working. Let me get the little stand.
Well, yes, I think so.
I have not. I don't know what non-green thumbs are called, orange thumbs or not thumbs at all. Well, I don't necessarily know if I killed them.
All right, everyone, we're live and we're live on YouTube. So can everyone hear me? Is everyone able to hear?
Yes.
Okay. I feel like I'm talking to myself. All right, so who is ready to proceed?
Okay, we got break. We got break. Come on.
Judge,
Just
I'm
1
ready.
second. Everyone, we are live on YouTube. Yes. All right, who's ready?
Jason, it's for Marcos Ferdin.
Yes, what is happening?
So we'll be setting this for trial.
All right, just give me one moment, okay? All right, for some reason, guys, I've lost my photo and I can't get it back. Mhm. Won't let me get it back.
You could click on.
There we go. Got it. All right, so Jason Nitz, what's happening with your client?
We'll be setting him for trial.
All right, what's your client's name?
Marcos Ferdin.
Did he check in on Zoom, Jason?
He's in the courtroom.
Oh, okay. Can I,
Okay.
I
Yes,
can talk to him. I don't see why we need to try less than a gram case. Can we go into a breakout room? I can assign it.
yes, I'll send you and Jason Nitz to breakout room number 2.
Sounds good.
So let me see. So Jason Nitz is in number 2. All right, Jason, if you go to breakout room number 2, please. All right, Mr. Orta,
Yes,
yes, who do you have?
I have Lisa Garcia.
Is your client in custody or on bond?
She's on bond. She should be on Zoom.
All right, is there Lisa Garcia here?
Yes, I'm here.
Where are you on Zoom?
I'm right here, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. What is happening with this case, Mr. Orta?
Judge, she has a assault misdemeanor and they had a, what do you call it? Made an offer of pleading on a misdemeanor, dismissing
that
the
was-
felony.
That's,
But the thing is that I just got retained. I haven't even seen the misdemeanor because I just got retained on it.
all right, so here's the thing. Miss Garcia, can you please mute yourself? All right, I believe that's Mr. Orta too. Mr. Orta, we were here on May 18th, and on May 18th, the defendant was to work out a plea in county court to dismiss this case.
Right,
So now we're back here a month later, almost,
yeah.
and we're with the same thing about defendant to enter a plea in misdemeanor court for this case to go away.
Okay, but the offer, that's what the offer was, but I talked to her yesterday because yesterday, day before yesterday, but she doesn't know anything about the assault charge, doesn't even know who it's from, so.
But I mean, I understand what you're saying, but what I'm saying was this offer was extended in May and we're in
Right.
June and we're still at the place where we don't know anything about the misdemeanor case.
Okay, but what I'm asking is, let me look at the evidence, because I don't know if it was her.
All right, Mr. Orchard, there's a lot of feedback coming on your end. Is there wind? There's wind or something?
It was my fan, my air conditioner broke, so.
Oh my gosh. Well, you know the temperature in the courtroom is too. So which misdemeanor court is this misdemeanor case out of?
I'm gonna have to look it up. I can't tell you off my head.
County Court 7, Judge.
All right, so it's out of county court at law number 7. When are you looking at the information for the county court 7 case, and have you been hired on the county court 7 case?
I just got hired and I'm looking into it probably this afternoon.
All right, so this is what's going to end up happening. We're going to recall your case, and we're recalling your case for June 29th. That is the plea deadline date for this court. So if you're going to work out your misdemeanor case on June 29th, then this case will be dismissed. If it's not going to be worked out, then this case is not going to be dismissed. And
Okay.
I'm assuming. So we're coming back on your case on June 29th
Okay, and it's at the same time, 9 o'clock.
as at 9 a.m.
Okay, let me ask you, because some of the courts have opened up. Is it in person or through Zoom?
Jury trial will be in person, but that June 29th date is your plea deadline date. After that, the court will not consider any pleas.
Okay, not even dismissals.
No, not after, I mean, after that, it's the 29th. That's the deadline for this case, June 29th.
Okay,
All right, we've been having
let me look
settings
into
on
it
this.
and then I'll talk to the DA.
All right,
before
Mr.
the-
Orchard, we've been having settings on this case since April. So we will see you back on June 29th, and that will be your plea deadline date.
Okay,
All right, thank you, Mr. Orchard. You and your client are excused.
thank you, Judge.
All right, stay cool.
I'll try. I'm gonna put a fan on again.
Well, you
I
know, they
don't
say if you
and
put,
it's the problem is it's a new air condition, but when they're working on the street, it probably got full with dust and dirt, so I gotta clean it up. Out.
well, you know, if you put a bowl of ice in front of the fan and turn on the fan, it'll be cooler. No, I'm serious,
Oh,
but that's all I have for you.
I'm
That
hoping I
works.
can pull it out and clean it and I'll be all right.
All right, thank you. Have a good one.
And the only sweater I'll be doing is with a case instead of just my office.
Okay, all right. Good luck to you.
Thank you, Judge. My big excuse.
Yes,
Thank you.
you're welcome. Russell Mitchell.
Hey, Judge,
Hi.
I'm here on Chris Jones, and I think I told you this morning, I was appointed a year ago, and I've never had any contact with him.
Is it Chris Jones or Charles Jones?
I'm sorry, Charles Jones, Charles Jones.
All right, is there a prosecutor available? All right, the court is calling 2021 CR 2984, State of Texas versus Charles Lee Jones. Can I have parties announced for the record, please, for the state,
Hunter Morris.
for the defense?
Russell Mitchell.
We're proceeding by video because of the pandemic. Any objection from the state or the defense?
None from the state, Judge.
All right,
None
this
from the
hearing,
defense.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, I just said no, none from the defense, Judge.
All right, this hearing was scheduled at 9 a.m. It is now 1:43 p.m. The court did recess at 10 a.m. and the cases were recalled for 1:30 p.m. At 9 a.m., the defendant Charles Jones was not on the Zoom screen and not in the courtroom. Deputy Laura, is there a Charles Jones in the courtroom?
No, Your Honor, he is not.
And there has not been a Charles Lee Jones on the Zoom screen. The court will note on May 18th, the defendant was a no-show. It was scheduled to be recalled for May 21st. The defendant was a no-show. And now we're back here on June 8th. Defense, have you had any contact with your client?
I have not, Judge.
State?
State would ask for the court to forfeit the defendant's bond and issue a warrant.
That will be granted. I'll remain your client without bond. If you have any contact with your client and your client presents himself, the court will reconsider.
Okay, Judge, I appreciate your consideration.
All right, thank you. You're excused.
Okay, thanks, Judge.
You're welcome. Have a good rest of your day.
You too.
All right, David McLean.
Hey there, Judge.
Hello.
I've got Robert Hernandez, and he is here with us.
Yes.
I was going to see about talking with a prosecutor. I got stuck in my mental health docket this morning.
No problem. Is there a prosecutor available? It's a criminal trial division case. All right. Mr. McLean, I'm going to send you to breakout room number 3. Prosecutor will meet you there.
Thanks, Judge.
You're welcome. Joanne Eckel.
Good afternoon, Judge. I was here this morning with my client, Christopher Mendez Clark,
Yes.
and I had a brief chance to confer with the prosecutor and with my client. I think I need to confer a little bit more with the prosecutor.
All right. Who were you conferring with?
Meredith, I think. Meredith.
Okay. I'm going to send you to breakout room number 1. As soon as Meredith is free, I'll send her to 1 as well.
Thank you, Judge.
You're welcome. Brandon Lopez and then Oscar Hernandez.
Yes, Your Honor. I'm here on April Diaz. We're here this morning. We conferred with Meredith and Hunter. We have an offer, and I think maybe I'll just confer a little bit more so we can maybe finalize it and then get set up for a plea.
All right, where's your client?
I thought she was here. I text her right now. No, she's right there. April 12th.
All right, so what is going on?
We have an offer. I just want to confer one more time with the prosecutor, and then I think we can get something done.
All right, which prosecutor were you conferring with?
It was with Meredith, but the initial offer came from Hunter Morris, so I think either of them would work.
Okay, I'm going to send you to a breakout room, and I'll post that you're waiting for Hunter.
Perfect.
And he will see it in the breakout room. He'll go meet with you.
Thank you, Judge.
I'll send you to breakout room number 4. Oscar Hernandez.
CTD case, Mara Santos, we're here on violation reports. She's in custody.
All right, let me see what the violation report is about. Yes, she's supposed to be having an evaluation and we could never get the evaluation done. On this case, just one moment. I want to say we have tried no less than, I think, 3 or 4 times. Is that correct, counsel?
Yes, yeah, at least.
So she can be interviewed while she's at the Bexar County Jail. Is that a problem, Mr. Hernandez?
I would recommend that.
All right, Ms. Santos, can you unmute for me, please? Excuse me, the court coordinator, Norma Ferguson. Can you have, can you contact the jail? And have them unmute Ms. Santos for me, please.
Yes, ma'am.
Judge, I hope I'm not interrupting anything. I was
No,
gonna
you're not.
see if I could get a break on this.
All right, who do you want a breakout room with?
Robert Hernandez?
All right, Robert Hernandez. I'm gonna send you to breakout room number 5 with your attorney.
Okay.
And then Hunter Morris, Brandon Lopez, number 4. All right, Ms. Santos. Yes, we've tried several times to have you make your appointments for this evaluation with Center for Healthcare Services, and you never shown.
I actually gave a request for admissions to my pretrial officer, and she hasn't replied.
Well, it's saying that you were a no-show for your 4th and final intake appointment. And we've continued, and this court has continued to set you. We've continued to have hearings, and you've never shown. So your evaluation is going to take place at the Bexar County Jail. Do you understand?
Yeah, I understand that. I'm trying to put a lawsuit on the Bexar County, on the San Antonio Police Department and Bexar County Sheriff's Department to include you for making I believe it was you, right? You're the dark attorney, the one that made a joke about Lay's this past time when I was arrested.
What color is your skin? I have no idea what you're talking about.
What color is your skin?
Well, my mom say my skin tone is a beautiful shade of in the brown family.
Right, and you made a joke about it.
And other people say it's a gorgeous.
So I would love
other
to
people say
that too, but you know what?
Other people say it's a gorgeous shade of brown, but you know, to each his own. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Mr. Hernandez, your client is going to remain in custody until she's evaluated for the Center for Healthcare Services.
Your Honor,
And then, yes.
Can I just be included in their evaluation so that I know when it has been completed, please?
Yes, we will. Thank you. Norma, can you let them
Thank you
know
so
that
much. Have a blessed day.
Santos can go back?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have whiteout by chance? Thank you. And Norma, on Miss Santos, can you make sure they schedule the appointment with the Center for Healthcare Services?
Yes, ma'am. I'll call.
That. And Meredith, I believe there is one more person. Were you speaking also with Joanne Eckel or no?
Yes, I was earlier.
All right, she's in breakout room number 1. And she'd like to speak with you again.
Okay, I'll go there.
All right, thank you. Jason Nitz, yes.
Yes, Your Honor, I've got a new offer. I'd like to have a brief reset so that my client can get proof of employment.
All right, Mr. Ferdinand, when are you able to have proof of employment tomorrow? All right, we can recall it for tomorrow, Mr. Nitz. Your client says he'll have proof of employment. Mr.
Very good.
All right,
See tomorrow.
Mr. Ferdinand, you're to be here tomorrow at 10:30.
Ooh, Your Honor, I've got to be in Atascosa County tomorrow morning. How about Friday? Would Friday do?
We can do it tomorrow are you able to be here by Zoom this afternoon?
This afternoon? Or tomorrow
Sorry,
afternoon?
tomorrow afternoon.
Probably. I don't know how long it's gonna go in Bexar County, but by Zoom, I should be able to do it probably.
All right, Norma, can we put Mr. Ferdinand on the docket tomorrow at 2:30?
That's fine.
All right, Mr. Ferdinand, we'll see you tomorrow at 2:30. Just remain in the courtroom while we get your reset form, okay? All right, Mr. Nitz, we'll see you by Zoom tomorrow at 2:30.
Very well. Thank you.
All right, you're welcome.
Oh, wait, I have to wait for Meredith to come back. I gotta.
Yes,
What do I gotta bring, like a check stub or something like that, proof of,
I'm sure just an updated check stub will be sufficient.
okay,
Just something to show that you are currently employed.
okay. All right, thank you. I'll be in tomorrow.
All right, thank you. Yes. Let me put this on mute. But they'll still be able to use.
Yeah, they need to log on to the Zoom actually app.
Okay.
Let's see. So, I was going to try to get back into breakout room 3 with Hunter.
All right, Mr. Nitz, you're excused. Thank you.
Yes, I just would like to request from Meredith that she send the offer via email.
I got that. I'll email you.
All right, thank you.
All right, thank you. Joanne Eckel?
Yes, Judge. There's a video, Judge. This is our first setting. I haven't had a chance to go through all the videos.
Okay.
And the prosecutor also needs to look at the video. So I'd like to be able to go through the discovery with my client and then reconvene.
All right, Norma, on Mr. Clark, can I have a 30-day reset, please?
July 20th. July 20th.
All right, so we'll see you back on July 20th.
Thank you. May my client and I both be excused, Judge.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank
Chris, you can leave. Thank you, Judge. Have a good day.
All right, you too. Brandon Lopez?
Yes, Judge, I conferred. I'd like to go over the offer with my client and come back. I think we can have a plea done by next setting if we got 30 days.
All right, we've already had 30 days. I will give you 3 weeks. Is that enough time?
It should be plenty, Judge. I might ask the court for 2 weeks, depending on when 3 weeks falls, because I might be out of town.
All right, thank you. Norma, can you give them a 3-week reset on April Diaz?
Can they come back on the 29th?
I'm going to be out of town that week. Can I do the 22nd?
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry,
All right,
Norma.
22nd.
Okay, perfect.
Yes. All right, we'll see you on 22nd for a plea. Can you make sure that everyone has your client's email address?
Yes, I will call her and get that from her. Right.
All right, thank you. You and your client are excused.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you. All right, anyone else ready? If not, we're going to bring the jury in.
No, they don't. No, they don't. We learned that yesterday. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. But they don't last what you say they do. Just giving you a heads up. Because we used it yesterday and they couldn't hear.
Okay, I'm sorry, I thought you were finished.
We had to charge him. We had to charge him. And we are ready. Let me just. Okay. You can have a seat.
Don't touch the microphone.
Yes.
I'm just trying to.
David McLean?
Yes, ma'am. I need to get back in with my client. I believe we're going to break out 5. I left him there while I was talking to Hunter. We're going to do a PTD on this.
Well,
So
before you go, if it's going to be a PTD,
Yeah.
let me give you a date. Norman, can I have a date for a PTD on Robert Hernandez, please?
July 20th, Judge.
All right, so we'll come back on July 20th for a PTD update. And I'll
Okay.
send you to a breakout room to speak with your client. Please let him know that his next court date is July 20th. And you and your client can be excused or excuse yourself from the breakout room and leave from there.
Awesome. Thank you,
All right.
Judge. Good luck on your show. Appreciate you.
All right, thank you. I appreciate you too. I'm gonna, let me see where you are.
He's having himself a great time.
Okay. All right, and Norma, I'll send you later in the chat box. Well, after we continue with this hearing, I'll let you know which people have not appeared.
Yes.
All right, we're ready for the jury.
How come this isn't showing up?
Can I switch it back to?
Yes.
There it is.
And for some reason, the camera, Brenna, this camera is off now. It's like we have floating head view or something.
Oh, yes, ma'am. That one?
That's it. Yes. Awesome. Okay.
Outside?
All right, and we are ready.
What's it?
You want to go?
Yeah. What do you want to do? From the window? Second, you want to go get Brandon? See you, I'm sorry. I should have asked you instead of Barry.
Thank you. No pressure. You ready? Okay.
Yes.
All right, for the jury.
All right, everyone, please be seated. I hope you all enjoyed your lunch. All right, State, your witness is still on the stand. You may continue.
Thank you, Judge.
So I know you feel like, hey, okay. And I know you feel like, shit, I'm here. I'm fucking talking to this guy. Blah, blah, blah. The other guy that's there, that's not in the hospital, he's getting the same damn treatment. So we can see who the fuck's at fault here. See what I mean? So you don't get to see the investigator talking to the other guy.
Yeah, I mean, but
only thing I see my part. You should have just waited for the bus. Just waited and sat the bus up. Sat the bus up? I mean, because I don't see why all this had to escalate to that. And I'll tell you. To escalate to that. And then he was already had me choked on the thing. And I'm telling you, that's what he said. He said, I was choking the shit out of him. That's what he said. Already had me. Called for a tag team partner. And come on, man. I'm out. I'm done. I'm buzzing. I got buzzing. Yeah, I can't breathe. I would say that. Yeah, I told him to tie me up. I was sitting there until he stopped choking. So so I had to get off. So I got you. You're defending yourself. I get it. I'll tell you, most people would agree with you. Shit, I agree with you. You have to stab somebody to fucking get them off of you. I got it. You know, like I said, just because you're talking to me, it doesn't mean the other guy's not getting the same treatment. Just because he got fucking stabbed doesn't make him the victim. For all we know, you could be the victim. And that's why you're here. But the reason why you came in handcuffs was because the other guy went to the fucking hospital. And because his side of the story is making a little bit more sense. But if you're defending yourself, you're defending yourself. Gotcha. I'm there with you. And I'll fucking, when you go to court, I'll say, yeah, I told him. He's fucking defending himself. Why the fuck not? So it's you're not getting charged. You're not getting charged right with anything. Where it says right how we're seeing what is happening, who is going to get charged, if anyone's going to get charged. That's our task, is to investigate it. But when you tell me stories like, tell me a story. When you tell me that I'm laying on the ground and the gun goes off here, or I'm biting, I try to bite them, you and I know it doesn't make any sense when you're laying on your stomach and then you see the gun and you try to bite them. Let me tell you what I think happened. Again, I'm not there, but putting pieces together of all the investigators that are talking to you, you're not doing shit. You're hanging out, and I'm with you. You don't want the cops fucking with you. You just want to have your fucking beer and hang out, right? So you go off somewhere else to go hang out. Hanging out by the tires, you don't get inside the car, you never do. You don't have any property on you, you're not getting charged for your vehicle. No one said anything about your vehicle. That's what the policeman said? We'll set them straight. So then you're hanging out there, this guy does come at you, starts talking shit, starts kicking your ass. No, it wasn't no time. Okay, comes out here, just fucking beating the shit out of you, starts choking, right? Starts choking the shit out of you. I think that you did have a gun. Right? Just tell me what I think. And if you tell me that shit never happened, then I'll fucking out there and I'll tell them that never happened. I think you had a gun. And I think this guy's choking the shit out of you. And you're scared that this guy's gonna fucking make you fucking pass out. Who the fuck knows what they're gonna do with you after you fucking pass out? You try to defend yourself with a gun. You can't. Because you're at a fucking disadvantage. At a disadvantage, they call somebody else with. Now, were you trying to shoot them? I don't think so. Because you would have fucking shot them. You have the advantage, you have the gun. Were you trying to scare him? I think you were trying to scare him. I think you're trying to scare him. What's that? Right? So if you wanted to fucking kill his asshole, you would have. But you didn't. Now they call for backup. He calls his buddy, hey, come out here, blah, 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 blah. You still kick your ass even more. You find a way to stab him. Now, if the other guy says he comes out, he steps on your foot, takes the gun away from you. Now, that's true or not, I don't know. What I'm telling you is this is the way I see it going off in my head. And if that's the way it happened, well, fuck, that's the way it happened. If that's not the way it happened, then that's not the way. See what I'm saying? But I'm just getting all the pieces from everybody, and I think that's what happened. They said he didn't know because they was both there when the shot went off. Okay. He didn't call for him. Well, that's what I'm asking. I'm asking you to clarify for me. This is what I think happened. What I think happened is that you try to defend yourself with a gun, it didn't work, and you're forced to defend yourself with a knife. Yeah, I mean, I'm with you. I agree with you. I believe you that you did stab the shit. Maybe not the shit out of him. He's at the hospital. Maybe he's acting. Maybe he's doing all this other fucking bullshit because he did something wrong. So now he's trying to play it off like he's a fucking victim. Who knows? But 2-on-1, you take out a knife to defend yourself, gotcha. I'm trying to tell you that 2-on-1, this guy's choking the shit out of you, and you take the gun out to defend yourself. Most people would say, I understand why. The guy did that to take the gun out. And that makes more sense to me than laying on the ground. I see the gun, somehow we're wrestling it, why buy it, we're wrestling for it. That makes no sense at all to me. I don't think it would make sense to anybody.
I don't even have that. Yeah, I don't know, it's funny. But as far as it, I mean, 'cause, you have a gun. It's cute.
Well, the gun doesn't kill anybody, the person that fucking operated the gun killed somebody. Just like the knife didn't stab them, it was in your waistband, you stabbed them, but to defend yourself. The knife never actually came out and stabbed them, you stabbed them on wherever you stabbed them.
First fact, he got a gun. Well, it was been in my arm.
Well, you did it, fucking learn this lesson, not to get on you, right? He got the fuck off of you. And they good on you for stabbing the shit out of them.
He's like, break it.
Break your arm?
I was like, well, I didn't even do that.
Yeah.
What the fuck did I do? That's just, I mean, I don't know what they mean, why you love, no, that's bullshit. Like, neighborhood, and just, they went overboard. I had a whole gun and a knife, supposedly, and
that's what they're saying over there.
And I'm still, like, I can barely bend my arm. I'm fucking covered.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I would think if somebody would say, well, it's justified trying to shoot or trying to scare him with the gun. No one ever said he shot him. Yeah, said he had military training. You want to fucking blast this guy, you could have done it. You know, you may have been justified. I say may have, because we don't know. We don't know what happened. Luckily, nobody fucking died tonight. No one got seriously hurt. Yeah. So the scenario I explained to you doesn't make more sense to you than I'm laying on the ground and I see the gun. Can you see how I came to that conclusion and that may have been the way it happened?
I mean, yeah, I guess. I know what happened. That's what it is. I have to defend myself.
Yes, I got you.
That's what it is, because I mean, I'm just sitting there. None of this should have happened.
You're right. None of that crap should have happened to you. Nothing.
And he said, what the fuck you doing in my yard? I said, man, I'm chilling. I'm gone. No, he didn't even ask a question. He just came. I was like, hey, so I got none of your.
Yeah, you should be at home hanging out, getting ready to, for that baby to come in instead of
That's why I'm
here. Yeah. And again, you have this baby coming in, that's why you're defending yourself. You want to be there for your son. I got you. I think most fathers will understand. Unless those fucking shitty ass fathers might not understand. But a decent person will understand why you did that. And that's what I'm telling you. I would understand why if you had the gun, you defended yourself like that too.
Like, thank God the police came. As I'm sitting there, that's the first time I ever was in my head, like, where in the fuck are the police? I was cheering for y'all, I don't know.
Well,
no, what I'm saying is, okay. What if y'all was a few seconds or a minute later? I wouldn't be here.
there's a possibility you wouldn't be there. You wouldn't, right?
I must live.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about too. Okay, these guys are doing all this shit to you, chokes the shit out of you. Maybe he doesn't know when to stop after you pass out. And he does choke you. And the fucking strangle you. Forget it. It's not very often people say, I'm glad the police came. Police usually ruin the fucking fun.
I'm like, what did I do? I kept saying, well, trying to say, what did I do? Fuck you. Kept saying nigga. It's fucked up. Mm-hmm. Other businessman. That's probably going. That's funny. You fucking stop. And again, justified. He stops a day like, now I fucking need it more. You probably won't get. I'll be honest with you. We don't know. I don't know if the police have brought the fucking beer with you. I don't know if they brought your backpack with you or not. Hopefully they did. Did you have it? But that's not nice. I don't know. It's take the other route. Yeah. On the next place. That's how I if I can go around and catch the killer, let's stop it that way. Mm-hmm. That's my name. That's it. You know, with grass all over you and it's stupid. My arm hurt, face hurt, I think teeth hurt. Everything hurts. Because I'm fighting off you use stuff that you ain't never used before. I would call it fighting because trying to, I don't know what the hell I was doing about it. He was on me. Yeah. That's why I said the fight where you lost the fight today, and it's not the fight that you started. You know, unfortunately, you were put in that situation. Okay, I'm not gonna tell you, hey, you should have not been there, none of that shit. Nobody deserves to. What happened to you tonight? Nobody deserves that shit. Especially if you're just hanging out. You know, you're right. This asshole should have told you, get the fuck off my property. But you fuck out, you went balls to the wall. So the other person is talking to them. Just like the way you and I talking, that's how we're talking. Because we're trying to figure it out. And like I tell you, after speaking with I don't know, I think there's 5 policemen assigned and there's 3 investigators assigned. And after talking with the investigators, you know, the scenario I gave you is the one that seems like. And like I told you, if someone says he would be justified stabbing him to get him off of him. I think the same people would say I think he would be justified, you know, using his weapon. I wear a gun to try to even just scare the shit out of somebody, so they can stop choking him. And I'm telling you, I mean, that's just what makes more sense to me. You know, so no one's getting charged with anything, right? No, but we're still investigating it. But when it all comes out to is, you know, you see like all those damn fucking police shows and shit, right? Like Law and Order and all that other bullshit, right? Well, the only part that they get through is the way it goes is that they show the police at first investigating, like the SP or whatever, and then they hand it over to the DA, and the DA goes in there and goes to the jury, right? So if there's a case made, right? I'm not saying there is, but my job is not to get a conviction. My job is not to let someone go. My job is just to present something to the district attorney, if it goes that far, right? Now, if you get charged, if you don't get charged, I'll be honest with you, Kevin, there's no skin off my back, right? Mm-hmm. Because my job is just to be fair, right? To make sure I present the best possible case to anybody, whether that is good for a suspect or the victim. Now, it's up to the court or the district attorney to see what they do with it. That's if that happens. That's why people get mad at police all the time. Like, it's not our fault that this guy beats the shit out of his wife. 2 days later, he comes out, beats the shit out of her again, and now the family's mad at us. We didn't do anything. We can't do it. It's the way the court system works. But the way they got it is that when they do get the packet, and when the jury does get a packet, if something like that occurs, is they see everything with it, right? Everything, all the reports, the officer's body cameras, everything, right? Statements, everything, the fucking Ring doorbell that they have, all that crap they have out there, right? Subpoena, they get everything. And they say, well, let's put the pieces together, right? So they put the pieces together as best as they could, right? And the best as we can, have talking to you tonight. And when it gets to the end of it, they're gonna be like, hey, you know what? This person does make more sense, doesn't make more sense. Or the officer wrote this, the detective wrote, he gave these guys the opportunity. They said, I didn't do anything. I just got stabbed, fucking beaten out there, you know. blah, blah, blah. And just like that, and that's why I give you the opportunity to say, to let me know what really happened, because we're glossing over a lot of parts, you know? I mean, you know too, we're skipping parts, and so I'm asking like, and it's not because I'm trying to trick you and tell you to tell me something, it's just that I want to be able to present the best report that I can. Not for your benefit, not for his benefit, but for the state's benefit, to make sure that nobody goes to jail or the right person goes to jail. Again, just because this asshole's in the hospital, it doesn't mean that he's the victim, you know? So that's why I say the scenario that I think happened is more possible than that's what happened. And if it did happen, then it happened. You're defending yourself, you know? It's just like, when you say, what, you were in the military, you said? What branch were you in? You're in the Army? So you know how we have secondary weapons. The policemen have secondary weapons, right? Fucking rifle goes down, you go to the fucking sidearm. That goes down, you go to knife. That shit goes off, you got the fucking E-tool. After that, you get a fucking rock, a 10-stick, blah, blah, blah. So I think that's what happened today. You know, this guy's choking the shit out of you, you try to defend yourself or scare him off with a gun, the gun fucking goes off, doesn't work, you gotta go to the knife to help yourself, defend yourself, start to shut him, that finally worked. Unfortunately, this other asshole, these people are still coming at you, right?
The person.
So that's why I would say, this guy will not stop, and if you decide to fucking use the gun to scare him, I got you, I understand, I'm with you. That makes more sense than I'm laying on the ground.
But it didn't stop me. You know, in 2 shots, huh? He got strong. No, you know. All I know is I'm so.
You did it, you're right, you did it. So when you say those 2 shots didn't stop him, did you shoot it to scare the shit out of him? No?
I mean, it scared me.
No, I just, when you say those shots didn't, like 2 shots didn't stop him.
You're saying that, if I had a gun, I'd use it to scare him, and it didn't work. No, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Your scenario, you saying if I did that. No, I mean, you know, it didn't work.
But that's why I say it's just a scenario, because like the way he said, I think that if you wanted to shoot these guys and you had a gun, you would have shot them, but you didn't. So I'm thinking you're just trying to scare them. But give me 1 second, let me go tell the investigator, Hayes, what we talked about. And I said, yeah, I'm gonna come tell him. So give me a chance to talk to him, let me tell him about where that guy said that he stepped on the hand and took the gun away from him. And that's when my fucking little brain started working on all these things, on what other people were telling me. And that's how I came up with the whole, you use the gun and try to scare the shit out of him, because you didn't want to kill him, shoot him, because you could have. You didn't want to kill him when you fucking stabbed him, you just want to get him off of you.
So I had a knife and a gun in my hand.
Maybe not at the same time, but that's what I'm telling you is, when that guy tells me that, it tells, I'm thinking about, you go like to progressions. This didn't work, this didn't work, this didn't work, this didn't work. Well, fuck, not even, I'm thinking, when you say you bit him, I'm thinking, the knife didn't work either, now he's biting. I just fucking go in steps. Walking in steps. To defend yourself.
But I don't see how I'm stabbing as the knife thing is. And then y'all came. So I don't understand how I stab him and then all of a sudden I had a gun and keep it out of my head.
The way they say it is the gun happened first.
Yeah,
The gun happened first, that's what I'm thinking. The gun happened first, that didn't work. You can't use the gun anymore. Maybe you're fucking arrested him from, you got a knife. And when I was on patrol, same shit. I have a gun, but I had a knife right here. Right? So the gun didn't work. Someone's trying to grab my gun, we go with a knife. To go next step over. To anything to help yourself. Just like what we were taught. I wasn't in the army, you know, but I wasn't in the army, but I was in the military. And I know how to use a fucking E-tool to hurt somebody. Right? Because you use what you have.
So I thought I was gonna back up. Again. I don't know, it's just something, so I'm like, how do you have so much nerve?
Is it a big guy?
Both of them bigger than me. I say between both of them, they probably about 90 something. I'm only 140, 145. So, yeah, that's that makes.
Video stopped at 2:28:03. I think there's a lag or whatever, but Detective, let me ask you, does the defendant change his story from this point forward in the statement?
No, sir.
He maintains that same story that we've been listening to for the last hour and 17 minutes cumulative?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And just to recap a little bit, according to the defendant's version of the story, he says he bit the second guy's hand that came outside.
Yes, sir.
And that guy had the gun. The second guy had the gun in the hand he bit
Yes, sir.
and was for some reason placing it down around the defendant's mouth, who was prone, stomach down on the ground.
Yes, sir. Sir, I don't know if I don't remember hearing the mouth area, but it was up here, sir.
Okay. And then I guess let me just backtrack a little bit, just so the jury can understand. Do you have any strategy when, as a detective, when you are interviewing either a suspect or a witness or et cetera? Do you have any strategy going into something like this?
Normally, I just listen to what they have to tell me, sir. And then whatever the other investigators tell me, I just try to piece it together. Or if it's the other investigator tells me something, it doesn't make sense to me, or it's not what the investigator tells me, then I just ask them, just say, hey, what you told me is different from what the investigator told me. I don't really have a strategy when I talk to somebody, sir.
I mean, the jury can see you're not a very confrontational guy in the interview room.
Oh, no, sir, I'm not.
But part of it is trying to identify with the person, get them to open up to you, like you, things like that.
Oh, yes, sir. But yeah.
Judge, I pass the witness.
Defense.
Detective, would you disagree with the fact that you gave your version of what you thought happened and wanted him to agree with you about 20 times?
I don't know about how many times I said it, sir, but I didn't want him to agree with me, sir. That's what I thought happened. And like I told him, if it didn't happen, then it didn't happen. On my supplement, I wrote what he said, not what I thought, sir.
Okay. But your statements again and again and again and again and again and again were always asking him to agree with your version of what you thought happened.
No, sir. Like you saw me and I said, if it happened that way or it didn't happen that way, just let me know how it happened. That's how I believed happened. But my opinion wasn't on the report, nor I never said that, this is what you should tell me, to say this would make sense to me.
Would you agree that what you said on the video in the interrogation room was your version of how you thought it happened?
Yes, sir, I did.
And you tried to get him to agree with you that version?
I don't think, like I said, sir, I don't think I tried to make him to agree with me. If it didn't happen that way, then it didn't happen that way.
And I didn't use the word make. I said, you were trying to get him to agree with you?
Well, sir, I'm gonna answer you the same way. I don't want somebody to tell me something that it didn't happen. That's how I strongly believe it happened. I was given the opportunity over and over again. Yes, sir, I did.
And I'm assuming that the tape had continued, it would have continued you trying to get him to agree with your version of the fact.
I don't know how much longer the tape went, sir, but I don't really remember.
But he never changed his story.
That's correct, sir. He never changed it.
No further questions, Your Honor.
State.
Nothing further for this witness. May he be
All right.
excused, please?
This witness subject for recall defense.
No, Your Honor.
All right, the rule has been invoked. What that means, you can't discuss your testimony with anyone. Only person should speak to our attorneys for the state and the defense.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
State, call your next witness.
The state calls Michael Cruz. Judge, may I approach?
Yes. All right, you were previously sworn in, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you're still under oath. You can have a seat and do not touch the microphone, but please make sure you speak loud enough so that the state and the defense can hear.
Yes, ma'am.
State.
Thank you, Judge. Mr. Cruz, thanks for coming back again. So the jury has now heard the defendant's version of what happened that night, and he's claiming self-defense. So I have a few questions for you based on that.
Yes, sir.
I want to start back with, I guess, the beginning of everything. And I believe your testimony was that you went outside to get a car seat out of your vehicle.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And when you, Your Honor, may I approach?
Yes.
When you went outside, I believe you stated that it was dark outside.
Yes, sir.
And so you couldn't tell if anyone was inside the vehicle, correct?
No, sir.
So you opened which door?
The back passenger.
And that's what we see here.
Yes, sir.
When you opened that door, what did you see?
I saw the defendant sitting in the back driver's side.
Okay, so once you saw that, did you then close that door?
No.
You left it open.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And then what did you do?
I ran out to the other side where he was sitting at.
Okay, and once you ran around to the other side, what did you do next?
I opened that door up and began to pull him out.
So you left the right door, the passenger side door open.
Yes, sir.
And I want to play a part of video, State's Exhibit 23, which has already been admitted. It's the body cam from Officer Garrett. And I want you to tell me if you can tell in the vehicle if your vehicle door is still open.
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna fast forward to fast forwarding to 4:22:52, and I'm gonna slow the speed down. So to skip ahead just a little bit, once you had the defendant out, did you ever return back to your vehicle before the officers arrived?
No, sir.
Okay, I'm slowing it down to 50%. So can you tell if your vehicle door is still open?
Yes, sir. It looks open.
And is that the cabin lights right here that we see
Yes,
in
sir.
the upper right-hand corner?
Yes, sir.
And so did you give the defendant permission to be on your property that evening?
No, sir.
Did you give him permission to be inside your vehicle?
No, sir.
So going back to what happened after you went around and you opened the left side back door, right?
Yes, sir.
What did you do next?
I pulled him out.
When you pulled him out, did you pull him to the ground or did you pull him out and he stood up?
Pulled him out when he stood up.
Once y'all were standing up, were y'all facing each other? Were you back to back? How
When
were
he
you?
first got out, we were facing each other.
And then what happened next?
I began to punch him.
Okay. While you were punching him, what did he do?
He took a couple punches and then he kind of hunched over a little bit.
Okay. And so you're punching him, he hunches over, he gives you his back.
Yeah, about halfway.
Okay. Once he started to turn away from you, what did you do next?
I was gonna jump behind him and try to choke him out.
Okay. And so like, did you get him in some sort of chokehold?
Pretty much, yeah. I got him about halfway. Like I had pretty much behind him.
Okay. And so there's a few different ways that someone could get someone in a chokehold, right? You can have them underneath your arm like that.
Yes, sir.
Where you're sort of on the side of them.
Yes, sir.
And then you could be behind them and have them around the neck like that.
Yes, sir.
Do you recall how you had him?
The second one, I was behind him.
Okay.
Yes.
So you're behind him and you have him in a chokehold.
Yes, sir.
What happens next?
I hear a loud bang right here by my head. Boom.
Okay. Could you tell, you said by your head?
Yes.
Okay. By which ear?
I believe it's this one, my left one.
Did you, I guess based on what was happening, was it your impression that the defendant was firing back at you?
Yes, sir.
What did you do to prevent that from happening?
I reached for his arm to get control of the gun and we just tussled and one more shot was fired.
And were you aware that the casing in the firearm, I guess, sort of jammed, that it didn't eject?
No, sir.
So I guess, were you aware or did you know if the defendant would stop shooting after that second shot?
I didn't know if he would stop shooting.
So you both go to the ground. At the time that the two shots are fired, who's all outside?
Just me and him.
Who comes outside next?
I believe my wife comes out. The first person out was my wife, I believe.
Okay. And then after she comes out, who comes outside?
My brother.
Is that William Drew Mitchell?
Yes, sir.
So is it correct that Drew didn't come outside until after the gunshots were already fired?
Yes, sir.
And your car's parked in the driveway, right?
Yes, sir.
Of your property?
Yes, sir.
Did you go into the street and pull the defendant onto your property?
No, sir.
Did you attack the defendant without provocation, not on your property?
No, sir.
So once you realized that the defendant had produced a gun and was firing at you, were you in fear of imminent bodily injury or death?
Yes, sir.
Was the defendant shooting the firearm at or in your direction?
I believe he was. Yes.
When the defendant pulled out a firearm and started shooting at you, were you concerned for your well-being?
Oh, yes, sir.
Were you concerned for the well-being of your wife
Yes, sir.
and your brother
Yes, sir.
and your child?
Yes, sir.
That's the witness, Judge.
Defense?
When you testified earlier, I believe you told us that you never saw the gun.
Yes, sir.
Correct?
Yes, sir.
And you never saw Mr. Debnam holding a gun.
No, sir.
When you used the term choke him out, what did you mean?
I was gonna try to put him to sleep to avoid him.
I'm sorry, what?
I was gonna try to put him to sleep to avoid him doing any physical harm to me.
Put him to sleep?
Yes, sir.
Mean like a sleeper hold?
Yes, sir.
And why does that put somebody to sleep?
Oh, you take away their oxygen.
Okay, you cut off blood flow, you cut off oxygen.
Yeah.
Okay. You do realize that sometimes people die from having oxygen cut off to their brain.
Yes, sir. But at the time, that wasn't what I was thinking.
No further questions, Your Honor.
State?
No further questions, Judge. Maybe excuse?
Yes. Is he subject to recall?
No, Judge.
All right, the rule has been invoked. Again, what that means, you're not allowed to discuss your testimony with anyone. The only persons you're allowed to speak to are attorneys for the state and attorneys for the defense. Thank you. State, call your next witness.
Judge, can we have 5-10 minutes? Both of our next witnesses are walking from public safety on the street right now, but as you know, they've got all that crazy construction in between, so it's like an extra 4 blocks. So I'm gonna say 5 or 10 minutes.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, would you like to take your break now, or would you like to remain seated? Should it be better? You know, sometimes somebody wants someone else to make the decision. All right, you know what? I'm gonna make the decision for everyone. And we're working on getting more water down here. Supposedly the AC has just been fixed, but I'm being told it's only at 40%. So when you come back, I promise that you will have water waiting for you. So let's take a break so that the witnesses can come. Remember what I said, you've heard some evidence. You're not allowed to deliberate or talk to anyone or even each other about what you heard, okay? All right, and we'll have you all back in 10 minutes.
All right.
Excuse me, everyone. Just so you know, make sure, let me turn off my audio. All right, so everyone, just so you know, the audio is back on. State, how many more witnesses do you anticipate? Two. All right. So if I see us getting close to 4:30, I'm going to see if the jury wants to continue. And if they do, then we will. But I'll expect everyone to be ready for closing arguments tomorrow at 9. And we're going to stay till we get the jury charge done.
We should be done before 4:30.
All right, thank you.
I say should.
Well, I like when you say should.
Judge, I sent you some items to sign.
All right, everyone, my prediction is going to be that at some point it's going to be freezing in here and nobody's going to bring a jacket. All right, everyone, please be seated and state if you'll call your next witness.
Candace Ferguson.
We don't have the witness. We don't have the witness's video. All right, thank you. We should find out what's going on. Well, I mean,
Just 1 second. You're going to be right here.
I just sent you a notice to start. There it is. Okay. Thank you. All right, please have a seat.
I still have a blank screen. Oh, there it goes.
Yes. All right, could you raise your right hand for me, please? Do you solemnly swear affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God? All right, I'm going to ask you to state your name for the record and spell it. Please do not touch the microphone. And if you could keep your voice raised so that the jurors can hear you and that attorneys for the state and the defense can hear you as well.
Yes, ma'am. My name is Detective Crystal Ferguson, CRYSTAL Ferguson, FERGUSON.
All right, state.
Thanks, Judge. Detective Ferguson, how are you currently employed?
I am employed with the San Antonio Police Department. I am a homicide detective. I work the murder detail.
How long have you been a detective with SAPD?
6 years.
All right, and I'm sorry. Could parties approach for a moment, please? Defense. All right, we're back on the record. State.
Thank you. Detective, you said you've been a detective for 6 years?
Yes, sir.
How long have you been with homicide?
I've been with homicide. I'm going on 5 years with homicide.
What division were you with before that?
Aggravated assaults.
As a detective with an aggravated assault, or either division, at what point do you receive a case?
Well, with aggravated assaults, it depends on when the case was have. So if, for instance, if a case came in through night CID, it would go through one detective. And then if he sees fit that that case should come up for us for follow-up, that's when I would be getting the case.
Okay, so if a case comes to you after it's gone to night CID, what would your role be?
To do any of the follow-up that wasn't done by the previous detective. Anything that would look further into any evidence, submitting any evidence, getting 911 calls, following up with any fingerprints, anything that wouldn't immediately be available to him that night.
Were you assigned to a case involving a defendant by the name of Kevin Debnam?
Yes, sir.
Were you assigned after, I guess you weren't part of night CID at the time, right?
No, sir.
So once you received the case, what did you do?
I looked over the case. I read through any of the reports, any of the reports from the actual detective that handled it that night. Looked at any of the interviews that were conducted. Again, got 911 tapes and looked into any evidence that was submitted.
What was your understanding of what happened that night?
From what
I object. Her understanding of it is irrelevant. It's for the jury to decide what happened that night.
Judge, she's doing an investigation, and as part of that investigation, she had to review the evidence and make a determination of whether an offense occurred.
All right, I'll sustain any objections as to her understanding. State, if you want to ask what she actually did that night, then that will be overruled. But her understandings, that will be sustained.
So Detective, you said what all did you review?
I reviewed any of the statements that were taken that night from any witnesses, the victims, the suspect interview, any evidence that was submitted.
Okay. So in this case, which involved a firearm, would you have reviewed that?
Yes, sir.
Are you the person who submits it to the crime lab to be tested?
Yes, sir.
Your Honor, may I approach the witness?
Yes.
What's been marked as State's Exhibit 27.
Mhm.
And specifically, 27B. Can you tell the jury if you recognize that and if you submitted that to the crime lab testing?
Yes. Yes, the DV, the Diamondback. Yes, sir. Yes, I did.
Okay. And what else did you do after you reviewed everything? Do you at some point decide if you want to file a case with our office?
Yes, any further evidence that that reveals itself at the time, if I see anything further that needs to be investigated, I also investigate that portion.
As part of your investigation, did you run a search on the firearm to determine who it belonged to?
Yes, sir.
Did you do that in this case?
Yes, I did.
Who did the firearm come back to?
Your Honor, I object to hearsay.
That will be overruled.
Who did the firearm come back to?
It was the owner of the gun. I'm trying to remember the name at the moment.
Did you make a report for this case?
Yes. I actually submitted another case.
Did you submit? I'm going to show you what's been marked as State's Exhibit 47 and 48. Can you tell me if these are copies of your prosecution guide?
Yes, they are.
If you could look at State's Exhibit 48 and see if it refreshes your memory as to who the owner of the gun was.
Yes, the owner of the gun was going to be Mr. Brandon Graff.
Did you get in contact with Mr. Graff?
Yes, I did.
And were you able to determine if he still had the gun in his possession?
Yeah, I actually had asked him if I could come and speak with him about the firearm, because I asked him where his firearm was. I said, do you know where your firearm is at the time? Because I did not find any theft of a firearm report taken, by him. So I asked, did he know where it was at?
Your Honor, I object to whatever this gentleman said to her as hearsay.
That would be sustained.
Okay. And so you said you went to him to find out if he knew where his firearm was, correct?
Yes, the status of his firearm.
At some point while you were meeting, do you remember what day you met with him?
It was May, it would have been May 19th.
Okay. At some point in your meeting with him, were you able to find out if he still had the gun?
Yes, he said that, he went and checked his
Your Honor,
safe.
object to hearsay.
Sustained.
Without saying what he said, did you have a gun was there a gun in his
The gun was
possession or not?
missing.
Pass the witness, Judge.
Defense, any questions?
No questions.
All right, is this witness excused or subject to recall?
Excused.
All right, the rule has been invoked. What that means is that you're not allowed to discuss your testimony with anyone. You can only speak to attorneys for the state or the defense. All right, thank you for coming in. You're
Thank you, ma'am.
excused. Thank you. State, if you'll call your next witness.
The state calls Brandon Graff.
All right, if you'll take a seat here, please. Yes, this stand. Would you raise your right hand for me? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Do.
All right, if you can have a seat, please do not touch the microphone. If you could state your name and spell it for the record, please.
My name is Brandon Graff, BRANDON GRAFF.
All right, and if you can make sure that you keep your voice up so that the jurors can hear and attorneys for the state and the defense. State?
Thank you, Judge. Mr. Graff, how are you currently employed?
I'm a licensed massage therapist.
Do you reside here in San Antonio?
I do.
What area of town do you live on?
The west side.
How long have you lived there?
About 2 years, not quite.
So prior to that, where did you live?
Over by Bassey and West Avenue.
Are you married?
I am.
What's your wife's name?
Mary Graff.
Do you have any kids?
2.
So we're here for an aggravated assault case involving a gun. Are you a gun person?
I am.
What types of guns do you own?
Long guns, shotguns, and handguns.
Let's talk about handguns. How many handguns do you own?
If I had to count, I think 4.
Do you know the types that you have?
I have a Glock 19, a Diamondback 9mm pocket pistol, a 22 revolver, I believe it's a Plankster brand, and a Taurus 40 caliber model PT 101, I think.
I want to ask you about the Diamondback. Do you still have that gun in your possession?
It is not in my possession.
Do you know when it, I guess, left your possession?
I believe 2 years ago.
So sometime in 2019?
Yes.
Do you know around the time that it happened?
I don't recall off the top of my head.
So do you remember the last time you saw your gun?
The last time I saw my gun, it was in the safe.
Okay. Does anyone have permission in your home to use your gun?
My wife.
Would your wife take the gun with her at times?
Absolutely.
When would she take the gun with her?
She used to deliver for a grocery delivery service called Shipped, and sometimes she would take it with her when she delivered for Shipped.
Where would she leave or put the gun when she would take it with her?
Most of the time, she would leave it in the center console of our Ford Explorer.
And your car, would you park it in the garage or driveway, street? Where?
It was parked in the street.
And so you said the Diamondback, have you seen that gun in the past 2 years? I guess, have you had the gun in the past 2 years?
No,
At some point, did the detective with SAPD contact you about the gun?
yes,
When the detective contacted you about the gun, did you go and check your safe to see if it was there?
I did.
Was it there?
No,
Your Honor, may I approach the witness?
Yes.
I'm going to show you what's been marked and admitted as case exhibit 27. Are you familiar with this?
that looks identical to my firearm.
Okay, so it's a Diamondback.
It is.
Is it a 9mm?
It is.
And this is the type of gun that you were missing from your vehicle.
It is.
I'm also going to show you what's been marked as State's Exhibit 36, 35, and 38. And these are items that an earlier witness testified were found in the defendant's possession. Do you recognize anything in the photos?
That is one of my wife's credit cards. Again, I believe that to be the same credit card as in this picture. And again, same credit card as in that picture, and they have my wife's name on it.
Okay. And I'm showing you what's been marked as State's Exhibit 34 and 35, which was also found in the defendant's possession. Can you tell me what those are?
These appear to be credit reports with both my name and my wife's name on them.
When the detective came to speak with you, were you able to determine if anything else was missing from your vehicle?
I believe there was a pocket knife and possibly a set of gloves, but that was 2 years ago, so I don't put a lot of importance on those two items.
Were you known to keep ammunition?
When I went to the range, yes.
Did you, based on your conversation with the detective, were you able to determine if you were missing any ammunition?
I was missing a box of 9mm ammunition.
What brand do you normally buy of 9mm ammo?
I almost exclusively buy Monarch.
And so I'm going to show you what's been marked and admitted as State's Exhibit 42. Do you recognize that?
That's the exact box of ammo that I normally buy.
Okay. And this was missing from your vehicle also?
I believe so.
And I'm showing you what's marked as State's Exhibit 41, which is items testified were taken from defendant's backpack. Is that the box of ammo in that photo?
It appears to be, yes.
And the items that I've showed you, State's Exhibit 41, 33, 34, 35, and 36, are they true and accurate copies of the items that they pretend to be, as far as you know?
As far as I know.
Your Honor, at this time, we would offer State's Exhibits 33, 34, 35, 36, and 38, 41.
Yes.
No objection.
All right, State's Exhibits 33, 34, 35, 36. Are you offering 38 as well or no?
Yes, Judge.
38 and 41 are admitted.
I'm showing the jury State's Exhibit 36. Is this your wife's credit card right here?
It appears to be.
I'm going to show State's Exhibit 38, which is a zoomed in picture, and then finally 35. Is that your wife's credit card?
Absolutely.
Was that taken from your vehicle?
Yes.
And then State's Exhibit 33 and 34. Looking at 34, is that your name and your wife's name on there?
Yes,
And this was a credit report that you had in your car?
it was.
And 33, is that your name there that we see?
It is.
And is this that same document that was in your car?
I believe so.
And then State's Exhibit 41. the items that were found in the defendant's backpack. Is this a box of ammunition, State's Exhibit 42 that you had in your car?
Yes,
Did you give the defendant permission to have these items of yours?
I did not.
Did you give him permission to enter your vehicle and take them?
No,
Have you met the defendant before?
no.
Pass the witness, Judge.
Defense.
Mr. Brandon. Now, the prosecution was saying, did you know that these things were taken from your vehicle? Did you know that there were bullets in your wife's car?
It was a communal car, and yes, sometimes we keep ammunition in the vehicle.
Before the detective contacted you, did you know that any bullets had been stolen from you?
I was unaware.
Did you or your wife realize that a credit card was missing?
No, sir, that credit card was, it was acquired expressly for emergency purposes. I don't believe it had ever been used.
So you didn't, or until a detective contacted you, you didn't know that it was missing?
Correct.
And you didn't know the rest of these documents were someplace and were acquired by somebody. They weren't necessarily in a car, though.
No, those documents were in our car.
You're sure?
I am sure.
Okay. No further questions, Your Honor.
State.
Briefly, Judge, just to be clear, Mr. Graff, the gun that was found in the defendant's possession, the box of ammunition that was found in his backpack, and your wife's credit card and your credit report that were found in his wallet on his person, all of those items were taken from your vehicle, correct?
Correct.
Pass the witness, Judge.
Defense.
No further questions, Your Honor.
All right, is this witness subject for recall or is he excused?
Excuse.
All right, the rule has been invoked. What that means is you cannot discuss your testimony with anyone. The only persons you can speak to are attorneys for the state and attorneys for the defense.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you. You're excused. State, call your next witness.
State rest.
Defense rests and close.
State closed.
State closes.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you've heard all the evidence that you're going to receive in this case. We're going to come back tomorrow at 9 a.m. At that time, what will end up happening is I will read you what's called a charge of court or jury charge. The state and the defense will have a chance to do arguments to you at that time. Again, you are not allowed to discuss any of the evidence that you have heard with each other or with anyone else. I will let you know when you're allowed to deliberate. So even though I have cases other than this case tomorrow in this court, I'm going to take up this matter first. So I need you all to try, and you guys have been doing fabulous, by the way. I need you all to try to be here. If you're here at exactly at 9, we will bring you in exactly at 9. And then at that time, I'll let you know when you can deliberate. So thank you all so much for your patience. They're telling me tomorrow that we may have AC. We shall see. It's somebody keeps turning it off. I don't know who that is. All right, everyone, please rise for the jury. All right, if everyone can please be seated. And the court is going to stop the live stream. We'll start back tomorrow at 9 a.m. Hopefully everyone